Everybody loves story dogs, the children, the volunteers, the teachers, the principals, and even the dogs.
Who wants to go first? Oh!
Education is not the filling of a bucket, but the lighting of a fire. Story Dogs provides the spark, the motivation. Quite simply, the children are desperate to come and read to the dog. And once a child is motivated and excited to learn, they learn quickly. Dogs are the perfect reading partner.
We're with Serena Poncia from Story Dogs. Serena, you're a part of a social enterprise, Story Dogs. I didn't know much about it. Maybe the people at Infinite Choices Convention don't know much about it either. Could you tell us why your contribution to Story Dogs is an important tale for the Infinite Convention?
Sure. Story Dogs is a reading program. We are in primary schools and we help children learn to read. But we do it in a special way. We're volunteers who go in with our dog. And children who are chosen by the teacher, usually in grade 2, so they're usually about 7 years old, they come out of class and they sit on a blanket with the volunteer and the dog, and they read stories to the dog. And they love it. Every child in the class wants to come and read to the dog. So there's no stigma attached. Every child puts their hand up, can I go, can I go? And it's just wonderful. We have great results. And we sort of fill a gap that's difficult to do as a teacher. Mm-hmm. It's easy to teach children to read one-on-one. Mm-hmm. Now, if you think about it, most teachers have got 28 children in the class. Mm-hmm. So to find the time to see each child, to help them learn to read in the best possible scenario is very, very difficult. Mm-hmm. So we fill that gap. We come in with volunteers from the community, and they range in age from 30 to some of them are in their 70s. They range in backgrounds. We have people who are retired, we have business owners, we have people who work but on their day off like to give back. So they come from all different backgrounds, but they probably have two things in common. They absolutely love their dog and they want to give back. Mm-hmm. And I suppose also they all love children. Yeah. You couldn't do it unless you did. It's just a fabulous program. The kids love it, the volunteers love it, the dogs love going in to do it. The teachers love it, mm-hmm. Principals love it. It's just a win-win in every situation.
It is.
It works.
Now, you guys started in Murwillumbah, I understand?
That's right.
And you've grown from there.
Yes, it was started by two mums in Murwillumbah. They did a pilot program in Murwillumbah East Primary, which was very successful. And so it spread from there, and it's pretty much spread by word of mouth. Mm-hmm. And we are now in, I had to write this down because it keeps changing, we're now in 66 schools. Wow. In 4 states. We're in New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria and Tasmania, and we're about to start in WA.
That's fantastic.
Through no advertising. We did have a principal at Terranora who spread the word in this area, but in all the other areas it's just been word of mouth and the excitement for this program. We had a deputy principal from WA who was over on the Gold Coast, saw the program in a school and went, I want Story Dogs in my school. Mm-hmm. So that's the next area we're going into. We're all volunteers. It's an absolute passion. We know it works, but we are growing and growing and growing, and it's getting harder and harder to keep the integrity and the controls and the passion alive when we've got so much to do.
Sure. And that's a classic example of good people doing good things and running into volunteerism exhaustion, if you like. There's going to be
Well, one of the co-founders said to me the other day, could I sort this out and this out, because she was run ragged. And she has been doing this since 2006. She has a part-time job, she has 2 children, so she has been working incredibly hard, but loving it. But I think there's a stage you get to where you go, okay, I'm not sure if I can do this and expand the program across Australia without help.
Well, and that's great that the Infinite Choices Convention can draw awareness to what you do, but also you mentioned before the connectivity of different people from different walks of life wanting to be involved.
Yeah.
So when we create a space where people can come into, more connections can be made,
Yeah.
and more creativity and constructive capacities can come to support what you're doing. Because the life of the story dog can lead into something longer term for those students. Have you got any assessment, albeit short term, about the longer term impact of the program for the kids?
What we do is we take the reading levels of the children at the beginning of the program and at the end of the program. It's very difficult to pinpoint exactly how much of what we do is responsible for their growth in reading levels. But we've definitely had teachers who are very excited by the results, and particular children have just blossomed, and they've been really surprised at how well they've done. Yeah.
So that must be very rewarding, though, even though it can be time-consuming and tiring for a volunteer.
It is. I mean, our volunteers pretty much need a morning a week, and they go in once a week, and each child gets 20 minutes to read to the dog. And it's amazing. I am a teacher, and I was actually amazed at how much difference you can make in 20 minutes a week with each child.
Wow.
Because it's one-on-one.
Sure.
You know, you've got the warmth, you've got the loving relationship, you've got the interest in the child, you've got the time that a busy teacher hasn't got.
Sure.
So it's a very special time. It's a very special time, and it's very rewarding watching those children grow and watching them gain a love of books and stories. Yeah, it's incredibly rewarding.
That is. One of the things I was just thinking there too is that the dog must play a critical role, of course, and what is it, either anecdotally, empirically, or just what your gut intuition tells you about the dog and the child connecting so that the bridge is built to do the reading and the imagination is stoked?
Look, there's an intuitive answer to that. There's also research, not on story dogs particularly, but on other examples. I mean, there was a psychologist in the 1960s, Boris Levinson, who took his dog to work one day, and he was working with children, and he was amazed at how these children opened up while the dog was there. And then there's lots of research on the physiological benefits of owning a pet. That may play into it in story dogs as well. Oxytocin levels increase, which is the nurturing, bonding hormone. And then you've just got the warm, loving nature of dogs. They love everybody. There's no judgment. They're warm, they're cuddly. All our dogs are accredited by a dog trainer, so we make sure that they are child-friendly, obedient. Yeah.
Fantastic. One other question I would like to ask you is in regards to the children who get the benefits of the storytelling with the dog. Do you get any feedback from their parents about even home life and the after effects of the experience with the dogs? We
do. We get some parents telling us that their children go home and read to the dog at home, or even to the chickens. We have had parents come up to us, write to us, even join as volunteers because of the success their child has had through the program. And that success is not just being able to read more fluently. It's teachers have noticed this as well. There are significant results in improving behaviour. And we have we've had success with autistic children, children with attention deficit disorder. There's something about the calming situation that just works.
Sure.
And it just grounds them. And they've found recently that dopamine floods the brain when you're in a loving environment.
Sure.
And when dopamine floods the brain, the learning centres open, which is exactly what you want. So you have the child in a completely relaxed state. And we do that because we make the sessions fun.
Yep.
We focus on the stories, not on I'm teaching you to read.
Yes.
It's almost a byproduct. It's by default that they're learning to read through enjoying this wonderful way of reading to the dog.
That's amazing. That's very good.
Yeah, so with kids who've been through trauma, they're often in fight or flight when they come to school. If they've got such traumatic home lives, then they're not ready to learn. And the only way you can get them ready to learn is to release the tension.
Sure.
To have that loving environment so that they can relax. And then you can do higher order learning tasks like reading.
Yeah. It resonates with me about the dog being a bridge builder to open the mind. There's different impacts that put pressure on the mind that could be closed off or not open to the learning. But if the dog opens up an energy exchange with the child that's of love or a bonding, it can open the mind, which can help with the teaching. It just seems to naturally flow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Serena, I think that's probably all we need to know for now, but thank you very much for sharing what your journey is and your social enterprise. And the guys at Mwoolumba need to doff their lids to you all. That's fantastic.
Thank you, Andrew.
Is there something you might want to share with the Infinite Choices Convention and the delegates about your role in the social enterprise that you guys do before we go?
My specific role?
Or just in general about Story Dogs?
Story Dogs is run through a committee, and we have coordinators in each area. Nobody gets paid. We're all volunteers. Without a coordinator in a new area, we can't set up in that area. So when we have somebody like this deputy principal from WA who wanted Story Dogs in her school, we say, okay, well, we need to find someone who's going to coordinate it there.
Sure.
So that's kind of how we work and how we grow. And then we go over and we train them in how we work and what we do, which is, and a lot of that training is teaching the volunteers that we're not teaching reading as such. What we're doing is we're creating that fun, loving environment where the tension is reduced, so that the children can learn.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Serena.
Thank you.
And the kids love it. The kids just love it.
Be part of the solution. Sponsor a Story Dog today.